members, I believe that you have taken your micro research. Take out your independent variables. Take out your dependent variables. Now, the independent variables are the things that cause or that predicts. And dependent variables are either cause or effect or predict outcomes. So our job, this is the crucial part. How these variables can be measured, what indicators can be done, and how it can be converted to a collectible data. This is the most important thing. Maybe you may not have so much idea when I speak this, but when we do the example, a sample research on the board, you will understand it better. So take your time to assimilate, understand what I am telling you now. We are going to do this with a sample research. We are going to do this with a sample research. The sample research is the effect of online learning on student performance. So this is a research that I'm trying to put for you for better understanding. Now, in my research, the independent variable is what influences the outcome. Independent variable. What influences the outcome? The dependent variable is what we are measuring. So the variable that we have to check on that influences the online learning, if you look at the variables, one is online learning quality. The second one is how the student is engaged. And the third one is the time spent on online. So I'll go with the independent variable first, because this independent variable really affects the student performance. So what is the dependent variable? It is student performance, isn't it? How the student performance is affected or predicted in this research scenario, the online quality, how the online interface is made, how good is that the online interface for students to engage themselves, and how much time they spend on it. Now, this variable, how we can convert to an indicator. I'm saying an example. If you want to implement online learning, you should have an online platform which is usable. So the indicators are platform usability. Then, as I told you before, the platform is good. If the content is not appropriate, it doesn't have the quality, then it is also an indicator. Then interactions in the class. If you look at online platforms, there are live sessions, there are recorded sessions, there is live interactive things. So they divide the online things into 4 quadrants basically. The first quadrant, the student will get information from the teacher or from the tutor, like through online videos, through recorded videos. The second quadrant, the student gets self-learning materials as notes. In the third level, or we can say in the third quadrant, the learner get opportunity for live video interactions as well as interactions through virtual or a platform where they can have discussions. And in the fourth quadrant of online learning is the assessment. Because after each video, the student may have to do some quiz. They have to attend some quizzes. They will get the scores. Sorry. Apart from that, they have to submit coursework or assignments. So these all indicates, these four quadrants indicates the platform usability. Then the quality of the content, how the lectures are arranged, how the SLM is developed, and how much interaction are getting, and how the student is motivated, the learner is motivated to spend hours in that learning management system. And also how the learner is reinforced to use. If you look at some learning management system, if you skip videos, if you watch videos by just forwarding, you fast forward, then it will not allow you to move to the next session. So this is how these are the major indicators. Now, these indicators, how we can get from a real life of an online learner, how we will understand the platform usability. We can understand the platform usability from the people who use that platform, isn't it? So we can use different like ordinal or Likert scales. Then like how they prefer, how they like their likes, dislikes. The quality of the content also we can take from the users or online learners using Likert scale. And how would they feel about the class interaction? Yes, we can get as a question that is arranged in a Likert scale. We can get it. But you know, how many hours spent by the student, that we can get as the number of hours that we can get like that. So what I say here, if you look at your variable, the independent variables, online learning quality, student engagement, time spent on online, we converted them to indicators. And in that indicators, we are trying to see in which all scales, which all ways we can collect them. Because these scales are the one we are going to use to develop our data collection tool. So similarly, as you go down, this time I talked about your independent variable and your dependent variable, actually what we are really measuring. The first one, independent variable, what really influence, what really predict, what really caused the reason. The dependent variable is actually what happened. So student performance. And really we can measure it. And I told you in the fourth quadrant of all these things, all online modules, we can see after each video there will be quiz the student has to attend, and maybe after certain sections the student has to submit assignments and you'll get a grade for that. Then you'll get a final exam score, then you calculate your grade point average, isn't it? So these are the indicators of student performance. This is how you have to use. What are the indicators of student performance? The indicators of student performance are the Q scores, assignment grade, final exam score, and overall GPA. Now, which all scales we can do with this student performance? Qs, we can use percentages, we can measure it as assignment grades also we can make as percentages, final exam score also we can get like, and overall GPA we get as a ratio. So if you come to the basic thing, indicators are what? They are measurable variables. We have to list them. We have to identify what category they belongs to, nominal, ordinal, or interval, or ratio. So the key thing what we have to do, we have to ask ourselves, in your research, what is your objective? What is the data? and what kind of analysis you are going to do and what conclusions you are going to make. So the data to analysis, that makes the research, and what methods you're going to collect the data, in what kind of scales you are going to work with your data. So I'll go in detail on my next board, the common types of data, but still for your understanding, nominal data, the data which without any order, like gender, department, all this comes in nominal data. Ordinal data is categories with order, which means that like satisfaction level, experience level, usability level, agreement level, disagreement level, isn't it? These are comes as ordinal data. Now, there is another type of data is called as interval data. This data is measured in equal intervals. We'll explain it more. Like, there is a temperature zone called as 0 degrees Celsius, isn't it? But, there is something, 0 means there is no temperature, but we go to -0 where the temperature is again less. So there is no true 0 here. This kind of data comes in interval, and ratio, we can say it's part of numerical data like weight and time. You may not understand it fully, but as we move through the next board, we will understand it in a better way. So in this board, the last 7 minutes what we spent, the key takeaway is identify your variable. And what are the indicators for this variable? What indicates this variable? And this indicator, convert them to data and what data type you are going to collect and how you will collect. So this is, or we can say this is the strong foundation of data collection plan. So before I conclude this board, the key part, better understanding of variables and what all items indicate the variable, and these items, how you are going to collect, how you are going to categorize them. Different methods, by different methods, different scales forms the essence of data collection. So what we have seen here is how variables are converted to data categories. What is the purpose? Because we need to measure them. We need to measure them. Now we are going to see the data types and classifications. I told you in my previous board, I'm going to explain this bit more in detail. You may ask me why we need to know the data types very strongly. Yes, we need it because of the reason to draw meaningful conclusions, we need to get data for right analysis. To get data for right analysis, we should use right tools to fetch data from the real environment. So now I'm going to talk to you about 5 kinds of data. One data is called as numerical data. So it's easy to understand. Don't worry about it. Numerical data. The data that represents in number, in quantity. We can count it in measurement, like weight, height. We can measure, isn't it? So even intensity of the luminosity of life, not life, luminosity of light, we can measure it. So there are which can be measured, like GPA, age, income, all this comes under numerical data. Now, real life examples of this one: student GPA, age in years, monthly income, height in centimeter. So now how we can measure it? We can measure, like if it is different scales we can use, and for that we use interval or ratio scale. Now I'm giving you a small space, a minute's time to think that in your research, do you have some data type that comes under the numerical category? So what you have to do now, I give you exactly 60 seconds starting from now, and the board will be displayed here. You have to identify, do you have some numerical data in your research? So over to you all, right? Please, just check your research. I'm leaving the board here. Check your research and check whether you have some numerical data. So scholars, I understand that you are at least able to find one or two numerical data in your micro research. So something that you can measure in number is called as a numerical data. The next one is called as categorical data, because we can categorize people, your respondents, as gender, department, like that. So the data that represents groups or categories, it forms categorical data and doesn't have an order actually. So for example, male, female in gender category. To take department, computer science, electronics engineering, business administration, you can categorize people by marital status. So these are called as categorical data. And the measurement scale what we use, the measurement level is nominal because we don't follow an order. The next kind of data is ordinal data. If you take ordinal data, if you ask somebody what is your satisfaction level, either they can say extremely dissatisfied or very satisfied. No, some people it is okay, that is fine. So in this ordinal, there is an arrangement, low to high or high to low. So basically from low to high. So they have an order of ranking, isn't it? And between the ranks, it is not equal because 1 and 5, it is not equal. 1 and 2, it is equal. 2 and 3, it is equal. But between 1 and 3, it is not equal. So take a satisfaction level. Very satisfied, dissatisfied, neutral. So like that, it keeps on moving. This is called as ordinal data. The next one is nominal data. This one's, it says, it is almost same like category and with no order or ranking, like theory exam, practical exam, blood group, course type, nationality, religion. Now a confusion comes to you. What is the actual difference between categorical data and nominal data? Now I'll tell you, it depends upon the research. You can categorize your learners who are in online learning to two categories based on gender, male and female. Now, in the next level, you can see how is their performance in theory course units and practical course units, isn't it? So it depends upon how you are doing your research. It depends upon what kind of indicators of the dependent or independent variable you are going to measure. So like that, you can see there is a close linkage between categorical and nominal variables, but you have to see in your research which categorical variable comes, which nominal variables comes. So like here, nominal, I can say theory, practical, lab, because we have a feeling that labs will work good when the students are in physical thing, isn't it? So that is why. So course type, blood group, nationality, religion, all comes in nominal. The next one is called as qualitative data. Now, most people have a problem in understanding ordinal and qualitative data. In ordinal, there is a order, there is a ranking, and we know what we are trying to measure. But when you try to take the qualitative phase, we are collecting opinions and experiences. So what we do, we interview students. We can interview focus groups. We can have group discussions. So these all comes under qualitative data. The data that represents qualities, opinions, attitudes, or experiences. This comes under that. So like student feedback, interview response, personal experience. We can have open-ended questions. So we will see how we can ask this question. So these all comes under qualitative data. So to sum up with this board, there are 5 data types explained here: numerical, categorical, ordinal, nominal, and qualitative data. So we need a clear understanding and separation which one is each data and which category it comes. Then only we can design the scales to measure. So that is the second part which we discuss. I told you that I'll help you to how to classify data. So what we are going to do, I'm going to stop this session now. We are going for a 10 minutes break. But before that, what you have to do, you have to identify your variables and what it means to your research and how you can collect the indicators, how you can collect the indicators. This is what we are going to stop now. But before that, if you have some questions, you can ask me now, because almost we have done 51 minutes. Any questions, you can unmute yourself and you can ask.
Good morning, Doctor.
Yes, please.
I just want some clarity. In your first slide where variables give us equals data categories, I noticed that the number of independent variables and the number of dependent variables are the same. Should they be for each? We should have an independent variable, should have a dependent variable. Am I right?
There is nothing like that. You try to understand, when you take your research, you have an independent variable and we have a dependent variable. I'm not saying what all things indicates that dependent variable. If my dependent variable is student performance and my independent variable is my online learning environment, so clearly understand what you have to do here. you have to clearly understand what is in fact what you are trying to make here. Because the most important part is understanding what is your dependent variable and independent variable. Here, don't worry that if you have one dependent variable, you should have one independent variable. If you have three dependent variables, you need three independent variables. There is nothing like that. What we want to know here, what cause and effect we are trying to measure. If one is increased, what is going to happen to others? So to conclude with you, there is no stricter notions like that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. If you don't have questions, we'll end up and we'll take a 10 minutes break and we'll continue the session. Is that okay for you all?
Yes,
Yes,
doctor.
doctor.
Why are people going away? Now we are only 4. From 7, now we are 4. People are left in here, I'm seeing, seriously. Good morning, everybody.
I can hear you. Veronica, how are you doing?
I'm okay. I see people going away.
Looks like this guy generated another code, another link.
Charles Oliocha? Sente ziriwa. Hey, kada kantemere.
Precious, it is soap and what? Huh? Omo? Huh?
Sugar,
Oh.
downy,
Ah,
Ariel,
ah,
Phillips,
ah. But it's the other time they asked for something, a broom. Was it a broom or what?
a brush,
Uh,
and jig. But I have jig.
you have Jake in your back. For you, you have everything. What? What is missing? Huh? That's enough money. Hey, get out and go. If money is not enough, you get the code, the code for air. No, they can never give you receipt before you pay. But there's an Airtel code. You need to write down. You bring for me. I pay using the phone because I'm using this phone here. Panje? Hello? Yeah? Mbade achavuga. Ajabila. Oh, yeah, you can. Plus even water. But still you have to write the what? Huh? You have to write the and the amount. Peter ndi mu class ogamba ki? Oyagala sente? Kaginoonye naye ndi mu class vaako.